These are the shortest, slowest, and most sleep-inducing coasters on the planet. This is Little Coaster Friends. No, this is Insane Coaster Wars, bitch. Yes, I have not been on any ride since 2019, and doing these videos was becoming a little too much I miss coasters, frowny face. But now it's becoming more, I'm really excited for coasters. So I'm back at it, I'm feeling refreshed. I am very excited for getting to 1,000 subscribers, but I did not expect that while I was not posting videos at all. A big video is coming. It's gonna be a while. In the meantime, we can goof around and watch Insane Coaster Wars.
Back in 1973, Six Flags Over Georgia introduced the tallest roller coaster in the world.
Ah yes, the Great American Scream Machine, the first roller coaster to have a height. No, that's not true, but breaking the 100-foot height mark was the first step to these rides. Hey look, it's Rob Elvey of Theme Park Reviews.
Holy crap, whoa, we're overmaking! Oh, going crazy! Oh!
This episode covers Intimidator at Carowinds in Charlotte in the Carolinas, Millennium Force at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, Diamondback at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio, and Kingda at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. I guess technically Jackson Township, but I looked up what a township was and I don't remember, it was boring. I'm gonna call you Jackson, New Jersey. Although coaster enthusiasts love comparing this ride with this ride in ranking lists, in general they are quite respectful and love celebrating all rides.
Diamondback blows Kingda off the map.
The thrill of being on Millennium Force is 100 times better than being on Diamondback.
Intimidator, love it. Nothing like it.
Just kidding, bitch. You like Diamondback? F you. Coaster enthusiasts hate each other. Only 2 of these coasters were height record breakers when they opened, but Insane Coaster Wars avoids repeats, so that's why we're not seeing Top Thrill Dragster or the King's Dominion Intimidator 305, which opened the same year as Intimidator at Carowinds in 2010. Also, if that were the case, this whole episode might as well have just taken place at Cedar Point, plus Kingda.
Intimidator.
And this is really the coaster that put Carowinds on the map.
Intimidator put Carowinds on the map. Before Intimidator, Carowinds only had Kings Island maps, but now, Carowinds is on the map.
It's become a rite of passage for coaster enthusiasts.
Intimidator was so good. Intimidator was so good. It was so good that they had to build a bigger one 5 years later. It was so good.
It takes a full 30 seconds to reach the top.
Bum, bum. One of my top 10 favorite reality show sound effects.
You crave it over and over again. I'm addicted.
She has the crazy eyes. That's okay, I get them too. When I talk about Maverick. Blinking is no longer a function that I obtain when I talk about Maverick. It is all eyes.
Boom. There you go. Speed.
Was that a trim brake transition? Anyways, we will be talking about Diamondback later, and both these rides seem incredibly similar to me. I have not been on Intimidator, but I have been on Diamondback. Both are B&M hypers with stadium seating, similar out and back layout deal. So yeah, when we get to Diamondback, that's when I will talk more about B&M hypers and how I feel about this ride, I guess. Because even this segment of the show, it's just like, it has hills and then it turns around, and it has more hills.
7 hills stretched over 10 acres, panoramic U-turn, pair of camelback hills, 2 more rolling hills.
Let's talk about Millennium Force. Millennium Force at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio.
We head to the Midwest for a monster of a ride.
That's right, it is a beast of a ride. Wait, you said monster? Did Insane Coaster Wars get a thesaurus?
Sandusky, Ohio, a quaint little town on picturesque Lake Erie.
You can just say it's where Cedar Point is. Sandusky, Ohio. It's where Cedar Point is. There, that's it. That's all you need to say about Sandusky.
Typically, when you hear Sandusky, Ohio, you think about Cedar Point.
Well...
But we came here and found out there was so much more to the 44870.
Get a little bit of everything. We get all the seasons, we get the lake, we get to see people from all over the world in the summer.
Wow, Sandusky has seasons and a lake. They have seasons. Seasons! Hey, what's that gargantuan amusement park in that shot that's half the size of Sandusky?
You get to the downtown itself, the rows of houses on those just amazing.
Water, wildlife, and amusement parks.
Somebody cares about this town, and it's just really nice.
I'm not just editing this video to make it look this way. They also go to a local restaurant and order at a chain restaurant drive-thru instead. And yet Cedar Point still makes a lot of appearances in this.
You think about Cedar Point.
Sandusky, Ohio. It's where Cedar Point is. Anyways, when Millennium Force opened in 2000, I thought it was freaky. Traditional first drops did not feel like they should go that high. The drop is very steep at 80 degrees, incredibly steep at that time as well, and the structure under the lift hill looked necessary. It seemed to me like it was just too much of a monster. I'm sorry, a beast for beam supports, which didn't turn out to be true at all. Coasters were out here having height wars with power lines and looking like it. What a time. For Millennium Force, the 310-foot lift hill and falling drop is the main attraction. I love seeing this inspection on the lift.
Brave souls must climb Millennium Force every day.
Never, ever make a move without being hooked on at all times.
And the emphasis on speed provided by the cable lift.
You're going up the first hill way faster than you would a regular coaster.
Now, you plummet straight down at 93 miles per hour, screaming at the top of your lungs. One guy loses his hat before racing into a ridiculous overbank turn.
Sweating and everything just melts into just a rush of fun.
Gross.
Next, you soar into the clouds as the coaster catapults you into a zero-G parabolic hill.
Zero G, absolutely. It's not negative G like I think most enthusiasts are expecting.
More hills that propel you out of your seat.
These are inaccurate expectations you're setting up. This is irresponsible. I'm not wild about Millennium Force because of its 3 airtime hills. The last one is pretty good though. The speed is relentless. You hit a top speed of 93 miles per hour and brakes? What brakes? That first tunnel is nuts! The first airtime hill slows down the train a bit, but the pace is still pretty intense right up to the end of the ride. I love Millennium Force. Not for airtime, it's for that first drop and the crazy speed afterwards. And it doesn't feel like a long ride, but that track goes on and on and on. If this sounds like something you will like Millennium Force. If you like airtime hill after airtime hill after airtime hill, you're probably going to like the hypercoasters on this list more. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Diamondback at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. Diamondback is a hypercoaster by Swiss manufacturer B&M. I don't think this ride has any die-hard fans, so I don't think my opinion will cause too much of a rift among enthusiasts.
I've ridden Diamondback 830 times.
5,970 times.
3,442 times.
Oh. Just kidding, it's fun! But it felt slow when I rode it.
Speeds that hit over 75 miles per hour. Diamondback flies by at 80 miles per hour, a hair faster than Intimidator at 75.
Okay, every airtime hill just sort of felt the same and slowed the train down a lot, but like I said, still a fun ride with plenty of floater airtime, just really not my cup of tea.
Diamondback has 10 hills in it.
If the airtime hills don't absolutely pop, I don't need a lot of them.
The only thing that can slow Diamondback now is a head-on splashdown brake.
I've never seen it on any other rides. I love it. I love this getting wet.
I felt a few drops land on me in the back row. It's honestly just a gimmick. An awesome gimmick that I love. Anyways, now it's time for Kingda at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey.
Home to more than a dozen spectacular roller coasters, including Nitro and El Toro.
Damn right it includes Nitro and El Toro. 2 really strong coasters at the top of a very large and varied coaster lineup. What were we talking about again? Oh yeah, there's a Strata coaster there! And it's still the king of tall rides. This is still the tallest roller coaster in the world.
The Statue of Liberty could take a shower underneath it if she wanted to. I mean, that just blows my mind.
And the Statue of Liberty could also make out with Millennium Force. Picture it.
An estimated $25 million.
Damn, that bitch is wiggly.
as riders board cars at the station.
I hate heights so bad.
Oh, that's bad.
But today, Kingda has a trick up its sleeve. It's called a rollback.
So just like with Top Thrill Dragsters in the Speed Demons episode, they show off a rollback for the cameras. Parks, do rollbacks at coaster events. Why don't you do that? So yeah, the Thuzies are getting hungry for rollbacks.
Rollback, rollback.
Roll back, roll back. Gooble gobble, gooble gobble.
Riders wait as a series of brake fins lower with a foreboding hiss.
Literally the sound to my heart.
The train shoots down the track.
Oh, Jill is all teeth when she's scared. This is my impression of myself talking about Maverick, fused with Jill riding Kingda. You ready? Does that shirt say Kingda freaking Ka on it? Because I need to find that shirt.
It's a 270-degree corkscrew that tests the limits of insanity.
A corkscrew? A corkscrew. You called that a corkscrew? Okay, listen, you called that a corkscrew one more time. One more time you call that a corkscrew, and I'm gonna come down to the Turtle Channel headquarters myself. You
just can't express the speed. I mean, it's like nothing you've ever experienced.
Susan. Jill, be more like Susan. No, I'm just kidding. I am proud of Jill, and I think that her doing that for Carrie is really, really cute, actually.
Kingda is one of the best roller coasters I've ever been on. The adrenaline rush that you get as you're shooting up to the top, it's the best feeling in the world.
I don't know if I could do it 300 times like some of these people. Once is good. I did it. Done.
I think it's sweet.
The votes have been tallied at TravelChannel.com. And the winner is Millennium Force at Cedar Point.
Okay, so the winner was Millennium Force. Does anybody else feel nothing when they hear that Millennium Force wins something? Like, yeah, it kept winning Golden Ticket Awards, and it had been people's #1 coaster for a really long time. It was that coaster. Millennium Force was that coaster for a really long time. And then people put it into the overrated category. A lot of people don't consider it their favorite coaster anymore. And there have been a lot of coasters that have surpassed Millennium Force for a lot of people, so rightfully so. For me, Millennium Force is still a very special coaster. I still like it quite a bit. I like the limit on airtime hills, honestly. I think it makes it really unique. And also, lack of trim brakes? Yes. Tunnels. I'm for all of it. The lift hill on Lake Erie, I love all of it. Millennium Force, I didn't even talk about the T-bar restraints yet. Millennium Force is a coaster that I love a lot. Just because of the type of rides I like, I'm not a huge fan of Diamondback. In turn, I feel like I would probably not be a huge fan of Intimidator. But at the end of the day, I still like Diamondback too. I never said I don't like it. I'll ride Diamondback any time of day, all day. It's just, Mystic Timbers is looking pretty nice over there. So is the Beast. But that's just me.
I've ridden roller coasters all over the United States. Diamondback beats them by far.
So for me, it was down to should Millennium Force win or Kingda win if we're talking extreme heights. But I have talked more than enough times about how this show system is broken and weird. And at this point, it just kind of feels like this episode wasn't bad. This was a good episode. I'm fine with how this episode went. I'm fine with it. If we're talking extreme heights, Millennium Force is historically that coaster. But hey, these are all good coasters. I'm just glad there was no touchscreen voting. It was an entertaining episode, but it was also just a good episode. It was pretty accurate in its information. There was a lot of good shots in there. I always pop for the inspectors on the lift hill. I always like that a lot. I think that's really cool. I was gone for a while because, yes, I really missed coasters and theme parks. And just taking my mind off it for a while to focus on other hobbies really helped me get through the last couple of months, I think. Midwestern winters are really brutal, and add a pandemic before that on top of it, and it's just... I hibernated, really. Basically, I went into hibernation. So to come out of hibernation with 1,000 subscribers, that is super dope. Thank you guys so much. This has been 0 credits remaining, and here's to a better 2021 for everybody. Bye.